so I guess I'll kick it off for you. This is a place that means a lot to you, that you had success. I guess it's always the million-dollar question each week, but any of you feel more optimistic going in this week to go on and get that first win?
Surely, yeah. You know, we've had some good runs here of late. We had some really good speed here in the spring. Again, we had some good speed in the spring race at Kansas and the fall race at Kansas, so we kind of relate these two places similar to each other. So hopeful, obviously, but you know, we've got to go out there and execute and do a good job. So having fast cars cures all, and we'll find out how fast we are here in a little bit.
We'll go to Jeff next.
I feel like you have a great pulse on who's really fast and who's not. Can you handicap this round of 8 for us? Who should we be watching as the biggest threats to make the championship for right now?
Who's in?
Larson, Bell, Denny, Reddick.
No, Denny's not in right now. Who's in right now?
Oh, you're saying above the cut?
Yeah, who's above the cut line?
Larson, Bell, Byron.
And Reddick, right? Yeah, I would say barring craziness, which we all enjoy chaos, I would say that the race for the final spot is between the 45 and the 11. The other 3 are set. So.
Do you enjoy chaos?
Do I? Not being a part of it? Absolutely not, no. But I don't really pay attention to it anyways either, you know. So, you know, when stuff does start to go down and happen a little bit, you know, earlier this year in the playoffs, there was a lot that was going on with, you know, Watkins Glen, with Atlanta and all that sort of stuff. So I kind of saw that from just doing the TV show. But besides that, I wouldn't have paid an ounce of attention. So I got enough problems.
All right, we'll go next to Zach Sterniolo.
Zach Sterniolo, NASCAR. Kyle, I know some circumstances were allowed you guys to get to the front of the field, but you guys capitalized on that and were out front leading laps at Kansas a few weeks ago. Does any of that success or what you learned from that race translate to Vegas, or are the tracks too different with how bumpy this place is and can be?
No, I mean, that's kind of what I mentioned. The first question with Holly was I do feel like these places are pretty similar. There are differences, of course. There are in any racetracks, but you know, having the speed in the spring at Kansas and backing that up with speed in the fall was a sense of optimism, and then would like to think that the same could happen here. We were good here in the spring. We had some bad pit stops, but we were able to pass our way forward.
Let's go to Kelly and then Jerry.
Kyle, you actually just touched on what I wanted to ask about. When you're on the outside looking in, how much are you interested or pay attention to kind of how the championship is playing out? Is it just because it doesn't affect you, so it's one of those things where it's like I don't need to pay attention to who's doing what or what the points is and how this is playing out?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I guess when you're done with Phoenix, you'll probably look up at the pylon and see, you know, who was the furthest ahead of the 4, because you know who the 4 are. But past that, you know, that's about it. Just kind of seeing who got it. But that's yeah, I don't put much into it.
Sure, as far as on that. For you, how important is it to be the spoiler and win one of these next, you know, few races before the end of the season? And I mean, do you put any extra pressure on yourself? And what's your best chance for you?
You know, I don't put any extra pressure. I feel like, you know, when you do that, you can put yourself in positions to make mistakes, hence Kansas. So, you know, you try to let everything kind of flow together and come to you and happen naturally. Those have been my best races that I've had and my 2 championships that I've won when I've been in that mindset. So, I've learned in those instances on how to excel, and would love to just kind of have it be that way again to win here on Sunday. But yeah, I mean, time is running out. We're getting closer to the end of the year. I feel like this place is probably one of our best chances of being able to go out there and get that win this year. Homestead hasn't been great to me with this new car. Martinsville, I don't think has been great to anybody for being able to pass. And, you know, the Final Four at Phoenix and being in a championship race there, if you win that race and you're not one of the championship 4 guys, you've got something special that day. So
Come up front to Bob.
I'm for Stock Sports. I imagine with 3 or 4 races to go in the regular season, you kind of get a little bit of a sinking feeling like, okay, I may not make the playoffs. I'm curious with 3 or 4 races left now in the season, trying to extend the streak of winning every year to 20 years. Is it a similar feeling that you would have maybe with 3 or 4 weeks left in the playoffs, or is it different? And if different, how so?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's similar, sure. You know, you kind of come down towards the closing stages of the regular season. We had some pretty good runs. We've had a couple second-place finishes, some close opportunities, some missed chances there, which really hurt of being able to get in the playoffs for 1, but 2, to just scratch off the 20-year question mark. And so here we are again, you know, last few weeks of the season and trying to be able to get that victory to have won this season. So all you can do is try each week and go through the best you can and execute, put yourself in the right spot to have that shot to win. And if it don't happen, then you were beat by others that were better than you. So it's just all you can do.
Go next to Lee Spencer. Right over here. Yep.
Spencer Spears, XMES for RadioCashments.com. Brandon Randall last night at the casino, and he basically
Was he up or down?
just hanging out. But he said that he feels like the team's doing everything. He feels like you're doing everything. It's like, can you pinpoint that little something that's missing? I mean, clearly, you know, racers will say, well, if we do, we would change it. But you've been doing this for so long. You have a feel on what needs to change for 2025?
A little bit. I mean, it's been talked about, but I'm not real sure if it's appropriate for this room. So, you know, we continue. We talk all the time. We talk every week. It's not just me and Randall talking. It's Richard being involved. It's Keith being involved. You know, Justin Alexander being involved. So there's some new key players that come in here in a few weeks that hopefully we'll be able to, maybe January 1st. I don't know when they come in, but you know, that will hopefully be able to bring us some newer, fresher ideas that'll give us some opportunities to have faster race cars in 25.
And Denny said because of his relationship with you, he didn't race you hard for that last spot, just, you know, kind of let you go by. He said that the 100% rule really doesn't apply anymore. Where do you stand on that?
I thought he missed a shift, so I just scooched on by. I was glad I wasn't close enough to him to hit him.
Do we have any additional questions for Kyle? Okay, Jeff.
I know Homestead hasn't treated you well recently, but you obviously have some fond memories there. What do you think about it moving to the spring next year? I mean, it's not going to be in the playoffs. That hasn't been a great spot for it in terms of turnout, fan-wise. Any concerns about the future of Homestead for you?
Didn't we try the spring like 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Huh? Pandemic year? Oh, that's right, yeah. So it was what, March, April, somewhere in there? That didn't go well. I don't venture this one going well. So I think that place has had a bit of a strugglesome time in being able to collect the crowd that it needs, not being the final race of the year. So I hope I'm wrong. Prove me wrong.
Any final questions for Kyle? Okay, we'll come up here in the middle.
Kyle, Hero Guerra, UNLV Rebel Report. I remember in 2020 you were in a similar spot where you were looking for that win all year and you finally got it in Texas during the fall. Does this situation kind of feel similar to that?
Yeah, very similar. You know, just through the COVID year, you know, we didn't have practice. We just lined up and raced. And so it took us a while through each race to be able to get ourselves, you know, the balance that I needed in the race car to be able to go out there and be fast. And it was just too late in the game where we were just too far behind. A lot of other guys were a little bit ahead of us. So, you know, here this year, we've kind of felt like we've qualified well at some places, but we don't start the race well, so we're kind of behind trying to figure it out, get the balance right for the end of the race, and by then it's a little too late, so we've kind of run into that same predicament some. But yeah, I mean, just it's gotten down closer to the wire, closer to the end, and you know, we don't have that victory yet, so we'll just, again, keep trying to work on it, execute, do the best we can, and make sure that you know, we put our best foot forward.